Hindi ako sasuko, lalaban hanggang sa dulo. Hindi ako sasuko, lalaban hanggang sa dulo. Taglay ko, ang puso ng kampiyon. 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 Makakamit ang pangarap, huwag na huwag kang bibitaw. Limitado ang paligid, layuan mo ang tanaw. Daming rason para sumako, buhay natin isa lang. Hindi paramihan, kundi kung ano mas matimbang. Ang lumiban, saka huli-huli ang proseso o manatili. Hanggat hindi tapos ang proyekto, maraming duda. Ako'y sinilang para kumumpleto sa kulang ng mga rumagasang natupso ng preno. Simulan na ang pagmarsya, huwag pahawa sa tumpok na nawala. Ganyan ng Pilipino, takot di pinapahalata. Kung kaya na
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another special edition of ProEx Basketball Talk. Baka nagugulat kayo, si Monique ang kasama ko ngayon. The reason for that is, iniwan ako ni Dodo Melicor. Anyway, Monique, glad to have you back and I hope you got my back.
Thank you, Sir Brian. I really can't wait for our show now and what it has in store for us.
Yun na nga. Actually, I feel displaced kasi kayo mga bukod sa magaganda, marunong mag-basketball. Speaking of basketball, hindi lang tayong dalawa ang host for tonight. We have someone, familiar yung last name niya. Well, if your guess is, if whatever your guess is, I'm sure it's correct. Everybody, please welcome the ProEx Head of Basketball Operations, Miss Melissa Newsome.
Hello, Sir Brian. Hi, Monique. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Melissa. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we hope you can back us up if ever we run out of questions or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure with playing with these three ladies in college at Ateneo, so I'm very familiar with them, and I'm also excited to catch up with them and see what they've been up to after we graduated.
Wow, that's nice. So I'm the only one really displaced here. All of you are from... Anyway, let's call on the lovely ladies, okay? The teammates of Melissa in Ateneo. Okay, first off, let's call on Miss Cara Buendia.
Hi, good evening, Sir Brian, Monique, and Melissa. Thank you for having me in the show.
All right. Also joining us is Miss Tina Deacon.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sir Brian. Hi, Monique, Melissa, Cara. It's nice to see you guys again. It's been so long.
And last but not the least, we have Miss Nicole Cancio.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me here.
Yan. Monique, should I exit? I don't think I'm the right show. There are a lot of beautiful faces here. Thank you, Dodo, for leaving me here with these ladies. Anyway, I think Ms. Just was proper. We asked Melissa first. Melissa, can you give the viewers an overview what you do with ProEx?
Mm-hmm. I'm the head of basketball operations. So ever since the pandemic, I've kind of been, my job has been a little put on hold because I help coordinate the tournaments and various events that take place for our ProEx athletes. So that's what I've been doing for about 2.5 years for ProEx.
All right. Okay. So before we go to the questioning, maybe we could ask Nicole, Tina, and Cara, how have you been doing, especially now that we're in another ECQ? I mean, I'm sure the past months have kahit pa a bit normal, the closest we'll ever get to being normal. But so far, how are you doing? Let's start with Cara.
So far, well, right now, I'm still taking up my master's in communications. after I graduated. I took a master's with Mel in Ateneo, and then after that, well, not after that. Well, while I was taking up masters, I'm currently working for Clutch Points. If you've heard of Clutch Points,
Yeah.
it's like Bleacher Report, but then yeah, or it's the same platform. And then I'm also currently coaching kids with Game On Sports. So that's what I'm doing now, aside from also being part of the WNBL, playing for Pacific Water Queens.
Wait, Cara, Clutch Points, you also write? Or are you social? What do you do with Clutch
Uh,
Points?
I'm a social I'm a social editor po. So I oversee content being sent in, and I also send in content, and yes, basically that's it. So I'm more of the ones on the social media pages.
Okay. Okay. Do you work with Angelo Ginhawa?
I think he's with the articles in
Oh, okay.
Clutch Points.
Okay. I used to work with Clutch Points. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
All right. Let's ask Tina. Tina, how are you doing?
Well, for me, I was supposed to leave this last July 29 for Australia, but it got canceled. It was the second time it got canceled. So at the moment, I've just been, pretty active, working out. And before that, I was teaching kinder. And aside from that, I was also homeschooling a 3-year-old. So yeah, that was pretty much what I was been doing the whole pandemic.
All right. And lastly, Nicole.
Aside from Mutagents, I also started my own business. I think a year ago. Probably I lost track of time already with the ECQ and this pandemic,
Mm.
but I think a year ago. It's called Nick Nourish, and it's just like vegan snacks and treats for people. That's it.
All right. All right. Okay, let's get to it. Monique, can you throw the first questions to the lovely ladies?
So for my first question, I just wanted to ask, at what age did you start playing basketball? Who introduced you to the sport, or who inspired you to? Let's start with Atitina.
Um, well, for me, I started pretty late. I think I was like 15 years old. Well, my first love was really volleyball, and then during my last year in high school, my volleyball team got replaced with basketball. So since most of my friends, also played basketball for fun, we were like, hey, not, why not try it? So then during a tournament, there's this coach who approached me, and then he said that the Ateneo Lady Eagles will be playing in Clark, Pampanga. So he invited me to watch. So when I went there with some of my high school friends, we ended up sitting behind their bench, and I just remember that I was just so starstruck. And when I saw them, because for me, they were like celebrities, who played basketball so well. And I was like, there's no way that there's a chance for me to play in Ateneo. So after the game, I think I'm not sure it was Coach Epoch Kimpo or Coach Erica D who talked to me and asked if I was interested in playing, and I was like, yes, of course. I didn't even have to think about it. So 2 weeks after, they called me, and then they asked if I wanted to try out. So next thing you know, I was taking the exam, and then I started training with the team. Um, it was, I think, for me, my first 2 years in Ateneo was like the hardest. I felt like it was a nightmare, not because of my teammates, but it's more of like the pressure, because I didn't really know how to play basketball. But um, like just like the little things, like I didn't even know what traveling was, help side, or maybe lifting. So I started from zero. So, but I was thinking, like I'm gonna be here for a few more years. Might as well just do whatever you have to do to improve, to help the team. And also, I just wanted to give back to the people who took that chance with me. The Ateneo was my dream school, and uh, like never in my wildest dreams did I like think it was possible. But I thank God, and the people He put in my path, because it led me to where I am right now, and for that I'm really, really blessed and grateful. So yeah.
That's a really great story, po. I like how your dream was to Ateneo is your dream school, and you're able
Yeah.
to be part of the team, and you started from zero, and now
Yeah.
look where you are.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but it was a fun experience.
Thank you. So let's have Ate Cara next.
Okay, so I started playing basketball when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I was greatly influenced by my older brother and my cousins, and also my dad, and of course my grandma. Because my grandma was she was a well, she was, I believe, one of the first few to play women's basketball for UP. Um, and yeah, she was a pioneer for sports, and yes, so started playing basketball 4 or 5 years old, but then we lived outside different in different countries. So we lived in Cambodia, Colombia, and Jakarta, and living in those countries influenced me to play for football or soccer, and since I've been away from for like 10 years or something like that. Yeah, my first love was football and not basketball. But then when I moved back here, grade six, I tried out for both football and basketball in Miriam for the varsity team. And then, funny thing was, I was super leaning into joining football because I think I passed both teams. And then I was leaning in joining football already. But then I was buying lunch at the cafeteria. And then the assistant coaches in basketball approached me while I was buying food. And he was like, "So, Cara, we need your decision. Is it football or basketball?" I was like, "Oh, can't I do both sports?" Because that's what I was used to. In Jakarta, we could do cross training. We could do multiple sports if we wanted to, as long as there's no conflict in games. But then here, apparently, I had to only choose one. So then he was like, "No, you can't do that. You can only choose one sport." So I was like, "Oh, okay, since you're the basketball coach, I just say basketball." So then I ended up joining the basketball team, and from then on, I'm pretty glad I did because it led me and it really opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Like I got a scholarship from Ateneo, and then right now I'm part of the professional women's league, the first ever in the Philippines actually. So yeah, I'm really glad I made that decision along the way. So that's pretty much me and basketball.
Wow, I really like how you said na your family influenced you, and your grandmother was a pioneer of women's basketball, and you are also a pioneer of women's pro basketball here in the Philippines. So that's a really good thing. Thank you, Ate Cara. Let's have Ate Nick next.
Uh, the question is, what got you into basketball, right?
Um,
Right,
at what
right.
age?
Okay. Well,
At
just
what
make you
age?
guys laugh. Okay. So what got me into basketball? Um, I was like Kyra. I had to choose between two sports as well. But if you really want to backtrack, I had to choose between ballet, jazz, tap, all these dances, swimming, soccer, and then my mom ruled out soccer and swimming because she said I can't watch you under the sun. She didn't want to get dark, so we ruled those out. And I ruled out ballet and tap because it just wasn't going for me. Like no. So I had to narrow it down between badminton and basketball. I think I was in s- grade 5. Like grade 5 to grade 7, I think I was doing two sports, and then entering high school I had to choose one. Uh so I chose basketball. And when I entered high school, freshman year, that's when I found out, oh, there's UAAP. There's actually a Philippine team for if you're for 16 under, 18 under, and so that's when I narrowed down my focus. My dad also started helping me out a bit. It wasn't anymore. Those kids when yung mga barangay liga or mga church games, gano'n. Tas minsan tabi-tabi lang and then minsan magnanakaw ng bola. I was that kid before. So it became more serious. I started living in the dorm, and then sometimes he would come over to Ateneo, tas he would help me out. We would do some extra work na kaming dalawa lang. And that's it. My dad basically really helped me get into basketball. Aside from the fact na everyone in my family is like blue-blooded, Ateneo diehard talaga. As in, time pa ni Villanueva, like before before Chris Chu pa, sino pa pa, LA Tenorio pa, sin panahong nun. So, ayun, that's how I got into basketball.
Thank you guys for your answers. You all had somehow similar stories where your families really introduced you to the sport of basketball. And you guys had to choose between sports and start from zero. And now you guys are playing the highest level of basketball here in the Philippines for women. So thank you, Ate Melissa.
Hi guys, long time no talk. For our viewers' sake, like I mentioned, we had all played together in Ateneo in college. And in our years there, I know we have all gone through different systems because we had a change of coach multiple times in our stay at Ateneo. So, my question is, what are some of the key takeaways from Ateneo that influenced or developed you into the person you are today and led you down the path of career choice that you guys chose? We could start with Tina.
Well, personally, playing for the Lady Eagles has opened so many doors for me. It wasn't just me and my teammates competing, playing for the school, but it was something that stuck with me. I don't know if Nick, Cara, and Melissa remembers, but it's what we call like being an audience of one. Do you remember that? So it was like it's like basically this talent that we have. It was given to us as a gift, and we should be able to keep that in mind. That without him, we wouldn't be where we are right now, playing this game we love. And aside from that, it was also about managing our priorities of being a student first before being an athlete, and of course being a person for others. I got to coach kids back in college. I was able to be part of the national team, and even after I graduated, there are still so many opportunities for me to share my knowledge about basketball, and having to gain that experience and confidence as a person. It taught me how to be a leader, a team player, and I don't know, just being resilient with whatever change that happens in my life. And now that I'm teaching kids, which I thought I was never capable of, I was able to just quickly. So yeah.
I believe that was with Coach Erica D, and that was my first
Yes,
year.
yes.
And that really stuck with me also, the audience of one. So I very much agree with you. And I know you were also on board with ProEx for one of our camps as well, teaching our kids too.
Um, when was
I
this? I
believe
don't.
the
This was
camp
like.
at Meralco.
Oh yeah, I remember. I got to see your brother Chris was also there. He was like one of the guest players. But I remember before I joined, um, I think I was already coaching basketball in Ateneo ABS, and then I remember Coach Sammy Belangel. He called me and he asked if I wanted to help out and coach kids, and I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to. And going there, I kind of expected that most of the kids would be boys, and to my surprise, there were a lot of girls, joining the camp. And being able to see how good they were for their age, it just fuels your motivation to do more for these girls. And because years from now, it's their generation that will be watching, and you want to give them that 100% support as early as now. And what I also loved about ProEx, it's just how the community itself feels like home. Everyone's just hyping each other, even though they don't really know each other well, and seeing their PBA idols, coaching them, sharing their experience, just to inspire these kids to continue pushing themselves to be better athletes. I really had fun, being with ProEx. And I want to thank Sir Dodo, who's not here, and Sir Jerry for allowing me to be part of ProEx, even if it was just for a short period of time. So
Oh, he's there. Don't worry. He's watching.
he's watching.
He's busy making the comments. See? Look, speaking of which,
You should watch
I
Monique.
should.
Yep.
excited to
Monique
watch
is
her.
up and coming. Yep. We're excited to
Alright.
see her as well.
all right.
Thank you, Tina. We'll move on to Nick. Nick, what were some of your key takeaways from your Ateneo years?
My key takeaways. Well, we had 3 different coaches during, like, when we were there. So 3 different systems. I guess my key takeaway is that throughout all of that, not just our the change of coaches, head coaches, and systems. I think I learned how to be more or less adaptable. Like, that's the most important key takeaway that I got from all of that, because um, on and off the court, you had to learn how to be adaptable. Before we graduated, we thought college, that's the end of basketball for us, for all of us, diba? Um, and then come this pro league, suddenly we all had to prepare for the combine. Suddenly we had to get back in shape. But then, how could we do that if there was no team, no coaching staff? So we all had to. I think, well, I can say, I think you guys do learn how to be adaptable outside the court too. So yeah, that's what I learned for my stay in Ateneo.
Mm-hmm. And also throughout those various system changes, I think one thing that remained the same was that our core, we really
Yeah.
had to stick together and, like you said, become adaptable, because it's not just one of us. We have to stay together and
Yeah,
adapt
yeah.
together as well. So thank you, Nick. And last, Cara.
So I think Tina and Nick, and well, you also, Mel, you guys said what I was going to say. um, but then, kidding aside, so I like what Tina said, is that the audience of one, that also, um, what do you call this? That also was a big, it also had a big impact to me. I liked how Ateneo really kept us rooted in God. It kept us rooted with our faith, and despite everything, despite all the things we were going through, inside the court, outside the court, um, Ateneo, well, being in the team itself, it kept us solid still. It's still kept us together as a family, and that's what I really liked about Ateneo, is that despite everything, despite despite whatever the comments were with regard to the team, whatever people were saying outside, I forgot when that happened. But then, uh, our coaches and the coaching staffs just kept us. They kept telling us to block off the outside noise and keep our inner circle intact. And yeah, that's what really, yeah, you guys laughed at nose. That's what really yeah, that's what really stood out for me in Ateneo. And also the drive for excellency and going beyond that, which is Magis. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like what you said about family, Cara, because throughout our years there, you guys, especially me from coming abroad, you guys became my second family. And we built friendships that will last a lifetime, even though we don't see each other every day or talk to each other. When we do get a catch up, it's just like nothing has changed. So I really like the family aspect you brought up. So thank you all for answering my question. I believe we'll go back to Monique. Or Sir Brian, do you have any questions?
So, but I have one interesting question because somebody's been bugging me on Messenger. Who here has been? He claims that he is your former coach. Who knows Chris Bautista here? Oh, I don't like. I like the reaction of Tina. Okay, Tina. Can you please roast Coach Chris Bautista for me?
Sorry, what was that, Sir Brian?
Why the reaction? I'm curious.
No, it's just it was like really easy getting along with Coach Chris when he
It
joined the
is?
team. Coach
Sure? Are
Chris,
you sure?
yeah. For some reason, I was pretty close to Coach Chris as well. I learned a lot from him, especially like along with Coach John. So yeah, it was a very fun last 2 years of my college with them. So hi,
All right.
Coach Chris.
How about Nick? Did you have any experience with Coach Chris? He claims that all of you are his former players.
Yeah,
Gloating as usual.
yeah. Coach Chris was part of the coaching staff when Coach John Flores was our head
Oh,
coach. So he was there. Makulit.
makulit.
Makulit
Hanggang
si
ngayon
Coach
makulit
Chris.
pa. Up to now, he still is. How about you, Cara?
Yeah. Well, like Tina said, all the coaches in Ateneo actually, not just Coach Chris, they're all really approachable, um, and they all really stepped out as our what do you call it, as our second fathers, second, third, fourth, fifth. I don't know how many there were. Puro lalaki kasi. So all of them were like our other father, and
Okay.
yeah. So I learned a lot from Coach Chris and the rest of the coaching staff that I went under. So
Good
thank
things,
you,
I hope.
Coach.
Melissa, does that include you?
Yes, I also was under Coach Chris. One thing I do remember about Coach Chris is that if ever I got too down on myself or I made a mistake, he always encouraged me to always smile throughout it all
Mm-hmm.
because it is a game and we should enjoy it. So that's one thing I really liked about Coach Chris, that he brought that joy back to the game for me. So, hi, Coach Chris.
Okay. Good feedback. I'm surprised. Anyway. I just like to thank Soul Academy, our sponsor for this show. I'm wearing the shirt actually, but you can't see it. Then also, our manager Dodo Medicor is also requesting everybody, the viewers, if you could still spare for the donations for the referees. They were the guests last week. I'll be scrolling the numbers up. Is the Gcash. The last day is for tomorrow. All right. Monique, you're next.
So for my question is, what is your response when you hear people say basketball is for men's and volleyball is for women's? What can you say about that? Ate Nick, your thoughts?
What can I say? Um, I think all of us here have written an English paper on the equality in sports, either English or lit, right? Like, raise your hand if one of you. Yeah, okay. So, what can I say? I don't believe in it that there should be, a sport that is dominated by men or can only be played by men, and then some sports are only should only be played by women. Look at men's volleyball, or look at who are the people that went to the Olympics, who are the people that brought home medals, right? So um I think girls shouldn't feel threatened that, oh, I don't want to play basketball, or I don't want to play soccer because that's a boy sport and I'm a girl. With women's pro sports now, whether it's basketball or volleyball, I hope when girls see those women playing, whether they stream it or they watch it on TV, I hope that they feel this sense of empowerment, because I'm a firm believer is in, if I see it, then I can be it. So if these little girls see these women, strong women, doesn't matter if their hair is short or their hair is long, if their shorts are short, if their shorts are long, it doesn't matter. Um, but what matters is the skill in whatever sport that they play. I think that there shouldn't be a gendered sport. like gendered. Yeah, you guys know what I mean.
Yes, I agree with you there in that it's evident now that especially in the Olympics, women are actually dominating in men's sports. And just like what you said in the start, I think I've written so many papers on basketball players, female basketball players actually being a new thing and should be accepted. Um, Ate Tina, what can you say about this thing?
Well, like what you mentioned a while ago, I think like we keep like making papers about like why women should be allowed to play basketball as well, or it's not just a male sport or a female sport whatsoever. But I just want to keep it short and just let the women, like, and their talent show what they've got. I mean, look at our like Olympians, like how many female athletes went to the Olympics. Like our first ever gold was female. I mean, Heidelin Diaz, or silver was Nestle Patecio. So, it's not just all talk. It's more of like their talent really, speaking louder. So yeah, and I really do believe in the law of attraction, and I really want to manifest that years from now, like more and more girls would be confident enough to play basketball without being discouraged because, you know, they get to look at their ates now and realize that they too can win gold medals. And I mean, not just in basketball, I mean, like all the other sports. And we are so, so, so much more than what people think. And I also like to think that years from now, people will be looking forward to watching women's basketball and seeing a whole arena packed with people, which is something that we didn't really get to experience. It was really just our families and friends who would support us. And yeah, speaking of support, I really pray as well that one day women's basketball will have that equal support that we deserve because we are doing the exact same thing. So yeah, equal support, may it be salary wise or just the necessities they need to compete. So yeah.
Thank you, Ate Tina. I really like what you said that women is not just we're not just all talk. We can actually do what we say, and we can prove others wrong. Ate Cara, your thoughts for the same.
Okay, so this exactly is the reason why me and a few other former teammates uh, came up with a business called Doyen. So it's a clothing brand. I'm wearing it now. It's Doyen, and it says "Play to break boundaries." Right. So Doyen is French for the most respectable woman in a particular field. So in our case, we're promoting sports, women empowerment, women equality in sports, and my thoughts on people saying basketball is for men. That doesn't only go for basketball. It goes for all sports, like for Heidelin Diaz, weightlifting. It goes for boxing. It goes for um, football. All sports in general, actually. There are a lot of um, comments about women playing sports in general, mainly because I don't know what it is, but men don't really like seeing women dominating in a particular area. With my work now with Clutch Points, I'm tasked to look for content and also oversee content. And whenever we post a gallery about women, there are always hate comments such as "I don't care, who is this person anyway?" When in fact that person is Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi, where they're already known worldwide, and they're pretty much like it's all hate comments like "I don't care, you should be in the kitchen, women shouldn't be playing sports, they should be making me a sandwich," and all those comments like that. And well, yeah, so with our brand, Doyen, we're here to promote women's sports, promote women equality, and say that women are here. Women can play male dominant sports. Women can participate in those things, and we can also dominate. We can also show you that um, we can show you that we're capable, we're able to do this. And yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's more of lack of well, I think I'll touch on this too. It's more of the lack of education on women's sports, the way people watch it, the way people see it. It's not like for basketball, they say women's basketball is boring. Why? Because, well, we're not as entertaining as men's basketball. That's all okay. I mean, we're not as athletic. We don't do dunks and stuff like that. People are saying lower the rim for women's basketball because
But there are also women who can dunk, right,
yeah,
Kara?
there are women that can dunk too. The likes of Brittany Griner, and
Definitely.
yeah, those people, they can dunk too. I mean, the game is evolving. Women are evolving. Our athleticism is also evolving. A lot of collegiate women's basketball players in different countries, they can already dunk in a normal rim, no, a normal height rim, and we don't need to lower the rim. That's not. If you want to watch women's basketball, if you want to see how exciting it is, it's not through through athleticism. It's not through dunking. It's not through highlights. It's more of the system, the way we move the ball around. It's more of the women's basketball IQ, how we're so systematic with the game, how we break down every single thing. That's how it makes it fun for us. That's how it makes it interesting. So yes, that's my that's for me and those people that say that women's basketball is not for women. I meant well, basketball is not for women. Uh, yes, there.
Thank you, Ate Cara. I like what you said that the game is already evolving. So I think, like what you said, the stereotypes about women in sports, or the thought of actually men basketball is for men and women is for volleyball. I think the mindset of people has to evolve as well as the game is evolving too. Thank you guys for your answers. Ate Melissa.
Okay. I actually want to start this question and ask it to Monique because I'm really excited to see you play, and you're very well, like Cara mentioned, you have that basketball IQ, and you have the background, and it seems like you really want to help empower women as well. So I'd like to ask, who do you look up to as far as women empowerment?
Um, well, now watching the Olympics, I really salute si Heidelin Diaz because if you saw the posts about her who during the pandemic she was stuck in a certain country where she had no equipment. She was just stuck in her condo or her room, and they had to um they had to train. She had to lift. She didn't have weights, so she had to improvise and fill up her bags, and her weight shouldn't even be that heavy because she was scared that the tiles might break. So it shows there na we just have to adapt with what we have. And I read also that other people had some comments about her. She needed a source of funds since she didn't have that much money to prepare for the Olympics. And ayun, parang people underestimated her before the Olympics, which showed. And now seeing everyone praising her when she won gold is just I don't know what to say. It's just um you're there because I won the gold, but you weren't there when I was in my lowest point. So I really salute her, and I hope that she could inspire more people to do well in her sport, especially her sport is a sport where male athletes dominate. So yeah, it's just very evident in her game, and evident in her game that she wants to prove all those haters wrong, and her sport is a gift for me.
Thank you, Monique. Yeah, it's really sad. It's the sad reality of women's sports, actually, that it takes for us to do well to get recognized, and no one's really supporting us or acknowledging our hard work that we put in. So it's really sad, but I'm happy to see young people like you who are willing to challenge that mindset and change it. So thank you, Monique. I'd like to pass that question on to, let's go back to Cara. I know you mentioned a few names, but who are some of the people or women athletes you look up to? It could be WNBA or locally.
Okay, so locally, I look up to um, hmm, there's a lot. There's a lot on the list actually. So for local athletes, female athletes, I look up to um, also Heidelin Diaz, yes, and also um, the ones that were in the Olympics. Actually, they really inspired me to well, you know how not a lot of people support our Olympians, not just our Olympians, but our athletes here in the Philippines. And it really inspired me because despite the lack of support in our country with regards to sports, in not just women's sports but also men's, uh, they were able to pull through with medals. They were able to place. There's gold. We have silver. We have bronze. We were able to get those medals, and also those that weren't podium finishers, they were also able to stay within the top 50 in the world. I mean, we're talking world stage here, and they were able to pull off those things. So, yeah, that those every single athlete inspires me. Whether it's a young athlete like a little girl playing basketball, it inspires me because you can see their drive to learn the sport. You can see that they actually want to prove something. You know, they want to uh, show people that, oh, okay, I'm playing basketball. Like for when I'm teaching kids now in the online classes, it's like 1 out of 5 that is a girl. And it really inspires me to see that one girl trying to do the drill I'm teaching and actually improving with it. So that itself is an inspiration. What else? I guess in another country for basketball, let's say the WNBA, I look up to Candace Parker. She's a mom already. She's a full time mom, but she still manages to find time to play. And that doesn't only go in WNBA and WNBL. We also have players that are already full time moms and they're still playing with the likes of Raisa Palmeradi. And that's really inspirational because you can see that their passion for sports, despite being a mom, being preoccupied with businesses, with work and all that, they still find the time to actually play the sport they love and the sport that has gotten them to different places. So, yeah.
Thank you, Cara. I like what you said. It was really noteworthy how you said you're inspired by the younger generation or girls as well, because I think a lot of the times we think our inspiration has to come from people who are experienced and older, but it's the young generation that's going to change the future. So I like what you said, that they really inspire
Yeah,
us as well.
yeah, and also it's whenever you're feeling like something's drawing you away from why you started, you go back and look at the likes of Monique and the other young kids. Like, why did you start playing in the first place? Like, what was your reason why you started playing? And that just keeps driving you even further. So, yeah.
Thank you, Cara. We'll go to Nick next. Who do you look up to, or who is your role model for women's empowerment?
Well, I can speak for now. My role model now, or the person that I really look up to now, is my teammate. Cara mentioned her, at Teresa Palmeradi. She is not only, I don't know if, excuse me, I don't know if you know, but in the past 2 games, she was our player of the game. She almost had a triple double in our last game. So she's a mom of 3. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, she's a mom of 3. Every time she had a kid, she would get back and play basketball again. And she's always, evolving, always getting better and better. And it's not only in basketball that she is really successful, or it's always improving. She has multiple businesses. I mean, in terms of her career, it just shows how like multifaceted she is. Like she's just like my idol, in basically, like, in one word, she's my idol. Like, I idolize her so much. And then when I found out that she was gonna be my teammate, I was, like, I felt like, like, oh, I'm gonna meet some superstar. But then when I met her in person, she was just so humble. And then minsan nagbibiro-biro nga na, like, out of nowhere. And sometimes I don't even know. Sometimes I have to remind myself to talk. Was at the rise, she's talking to me, she's my idol. So ayun, it's great to actually see, or the model at Riza, or Candace Parker, like, they're basketball players, they're athletes in their own right, but they're also successful. They have successful careers outside the court. They're moms of 2 or 3, or more. So ayun, Tina, may model tayo. Cara, kung gusto mo. So, ayun lang. That's it.
And I know you have your business as well. You mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. Can you share a little bit about that?
So I started Nick Nourished after I finished, like, my certificate course for plant-based nutrition. And then I realized, I realized that I have a lack. I personally had a lack of, like, vegan or plant-based, like, snacks that were basically more tailor fit to my needs. So I started making them, like, in bulk, and then my best friend would try it. My family members, like, they started trying it, and then, like, I got the suggestion to start making different flavors and start, maybe make it a business. So, and then it just boomed a bit last year and until now. So yeah, it's called Nick Nourish. It's on Instagram. If you guys want to try some guilt-free stuff, just check it out.
Thank you. I've yet to try it, but I'm excited to try it in the future.
I'll send you some.
Thank you. And then last but not least, Tina, who do you look up to?
That's, I don't know, maybe, I think most of, like, I think all of the female Olympians that we have, it's so, like, good to see how women are, finally stepping up. And I also, aside from that, I also want to mention, like, there are these two track and field players. I don't know what team they're from, but I think USA or something like that. And I saw this athlete who's pregnant. I don't know how many months, but she's pregnant, and she won the 800-meter um, relay or something. And I was like, wow, she was pregnant. Like, there's a picture that she was like heavily pregnant, and I was like, wow, like, it just excites you at the same time, because, like, for me, like, I'm injury prone, so usually when I get injured, I'm usually like, oh my gosh, I might sit this out. But then seeing these women, like these moms who, after, like giving birth, they're still doing what they love. And but they're not letting, having a child or having injuries, like, hinder them from doing what they love. So I was like, so I see them as, like, uh as women that I look up to, like, years from now, I want to be like them. Like, so yeah, it's pretty much that. So
Yeah, it's really amazing what we women can do when we put our minds to it, and we could really challenge the stigma that we have against us. So thank you for that, Tina. And if I may, I'll answer myself. Who I look up to, all corny, but I look up to you guys. I know we talk about all these role models we look up to, but if you really think about it, everything you listed that these women that we look up to are doing, you guys are currently doing it right now in your lives and your careers. So you guys really inspire me, and you're my role models. So just keep it up, and we can make this sports world a better place for all of us. So thank
Except
you.
for the fun part, right, Mel?
Maybe, yeah.
Sabi ni
Not
Tina, a
yet.
few years from now eh. So, baka. Di ba, Tina? Tawang-tawa si Cara. Sabi niya, in a few years from now, I want to be like that.
Yeah, if it was
Well, not
being pregnant or being
not heavily pregnant, but more of like focusing on my career first, you know?
Yung 800-meter dash yung gusto niyang gawin.
Not now, maybe 5 years from now. Five or, I just wanna like enjoy being young. At the end of the day, you're still gonna end up with someone, have your own family, but you only get to be in your 20s once. So might as well make the most out of it. But not in a few years and actually.
Thank you, Cara, for pointing that out. I'll go ahead and pass it back to Monique. Do you have any other questions, Monique?
For my last question, we at the start of our talk, we were talking about. I asked you what age you started playing basketball. So, what would be your message to your younger self, aspiring to be the person you are now? Ate Cara, what will your message be?
to my younger self, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my message to my younger self would be good job on choosing basketball. I mean, kidding aside, my message would have to be, uh, what is it? I guess if I were talking to my younger self, it would be, um, keep striving hard. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, yes, I have to keep striving hard, regardless of what people have to say about the sport I want to get into. Um, just keep playing, just keep learning, be open about, grab every opportunity actually. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just to keep pushing yourself and keep getting better at whatever I want to do, whether it's basketball or not basketball. So that's my message to myself, my younger
Thank
self.
you, Ate Tina. What would your message be?
To my younger self. Wow. I guess, like just continue exploring, like whatever you feel like you enjoy doing, whether it may be in sports, dancing, singing. I don't know how to sing, never mind. But um, like just keep doing whatever like makes you feel alive, and like once you find that one thing that makes you feel like complete or that brings out the best in you, focus on that, and like make sure to give your heart your best, give your best and never take for granted what you have. So yeah.
Thank you, Ate Tina. That's a great message to your younger self. Ate Nick, you're next.
Tatawa ako kasi what I would say to my younger self is hinay-hinay sa Milo float, tigil mo na yung double cheeseburger before game. uh, okay, aside from that, I would also say to my younger self, don't be lazy. I guess just because you see these guys, NBA players, PBA, and you see them all doing these fancy moves, just because you see that, don't feel hindered. You can do that too. Um, yeah, just tigil muna yung mga sweets, yung tsokolate, kasi hindi naman kailangan yung mga yun. But yeah, I'd say don't give up. There's Just work harder. Don't be lazy, because yung kalaban mo talaga is yung sarili mo. Yun lang.
True.
Thank you, Ate Nick. Thank you for all your answers. Before I pass on the the mic to Ate Melissa. Is it okay if you take a picture together? Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Ate Melissa.
Okay. First, let me say belated happy birthday, Cara. I know you just celebrated your birthday last week, so happy birthday.
Thank
I meant to
you.
say that at the start, but I forgot.
Thanks. Thank you.
One thing that interests me is that we're all former Ateneo, and Monique is soon to be incoming for the Lady Eagles college team. So, do any of you guys have any questions or words of advice for her incoming or her years in Ateneo upcoming?
A word of advice, Monique, would be stick to Ateneo. No, because for sure people will be off. She'll be getting a lot of scholarship offers, right? I mean, but Ateneo is the way to go. Just yeah.
Are you speaking
I'll
on
keep that in
experience?
mind.
Is that based on experience, Cara?
No po. I know that I made the right choice of going to Ateneo. That's for sure. I made the right choice.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
And I have a question actually, Monique. I have a question for
Sure.
you. I'll be the co-host now. Just kidding.
Go.
So Monique, so Monique, what grade? What? You're in junior high school right now, right? If
I'm
I'm
in
not
senior high
mistaken.
po. Senior high.
Senior high school. Oh my gosh, sorry. Okay, so you're in senior high school. So after college, let's think ahead, no? After college, what do you think is next for you? Like, what do you want to pursue?
I really want to pursue business because I'm really interested in the business side of the world, and I really like not necessarily making money, but I enjoy selling something I have or what I can do, my service, and see other people enjoy it or actually benefit from it. But if straight out of college, if you were to ask me, I think if my mom would allow me, I would join the WNBL if my mom allows me. So, hi, mom.
I'm sure she would. I mean, just it's passion, you know. Nothing can stop passion.
It was hard for me as well to convince my mom to play for the national team, but every day I just kept, mom, please, I love basketball so much. Just give me this one last year. So, maybe you can persuade your mom, you know. So yeah, just enjoy it, make the most out of it. Well,
Yes.
since
Enjoy
I'm
it while you
speaking,
still can.
um, my message for you, like coming into Ateneo, just keep pushing through, like keep working hard. At the end of the day, like even if we graduated already, we will all be here to support you. That's why we also have these leagues, these camps, to help you grow and be a better individual. Basketball is so much more than just the sport. It teaches you a lot about life. That's what it taught me, Cara, Nick, and Melissa. How you deal with adversities, and you get to meet new friends, new mentors. They're going to be your new family, our second family, and they will be with you throughout this journey. So I just say go for it. Never let anyone discourage you from doing what you love the most, because one day people are going to look up to you and you are going to be their inspiration. So we'll be looking out and watching your games.
Thank you for the message.
Well,
And
right.
Nick. Nick.
My message to Monique. Um, hmm. My message to you would be to not just be goal oriented, but also be growth oriented. So, uh, there will be when you guys can train already. There will be times that you feel like, oh, summer training, we're doing the same drills over and over again, or simple as mic and drill. Like, why do I have to do 20 straight? Uh, why do I have to shoot the ball without touching the board? Mga drills na ganun. Why do I have to touch the line every time I do a suicide? So always be growth oriented. Never settle. Never think, nah, this is just a drill. It's easier said than done. Like Tina, Cara, Mel, all of us have been through that. The drama of like even blaming a teammate, like, why didn't you catch the ball? You didn't know you have to do suicides, mga ganon. Or if someone doesn't finish a suicide in time, you have to do a suicide again. So, ayun, just make sure na you yourself are growth oriented so that you can also be that source of motivation for your teammates. And you should, just because incoming freshman ka doesn't, no matter where you go, but sana Ateneo, just because incoming freshman ka doesn't mean that you can't be a leader on the court. So yun lang, always be growth oriented. And if you have time, do extra work. Yung mga breaks
Very
mo in
important.
between, very, 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 very important. Don't take your time for granted. I mean, very tempting if you become a tormer. It's very tempting to just sleep whenever you can. But then, extra work, extra work, extra work. Kahit 15 minutes before or after training. Yun lang.
Thank
To add to
you.
that, Monique, to add to that, what Nick said about why do I have to touch the line? Those little things, those really tiny details, that one last extra rep in the weights room. If you miss it, why do you have to complete it? Those really tiny details, you can always carry it outside of basketball and in the future. Like you can carry it to work. Why do I have to do this extra minor edit in work? Why do I have to put a period at the end of each quote? Those really tiny details, they really help. So don't think, like what Nick said, what Tina said, don't take those tiny things for granted. Um, yeah.
Thank you.
And for
And
me
being a
to
student
chime
always
in,
comes
oh,
first, remember? Sorry. Being a student always
Being a
comes
student
first.
always comes first.
and to chime in on everything they said, for me, I would say, don't be afraid to make a mistake or make mistakes in general, because when you live with that fear, you really limit yourself from what you could accomplish and your maximum potential. So, just I know there's a lot of pressures on and off the court, but don't be afraid to make mistakes and just learn from those mistakes and continue to grow. So that's it on my end as well. I think I'll
Thank
turn
you.
it back over to Sir Brian.
All right. I just got one question for the four of you, because you were teammates once. Was there ever a game that you remember to this day that you cannot forget?
Can I go first? Can I
Go
go?
ahead. Go ahead, guys.
So, so it was actually before the game, I guess I should say. Nick, like when they were calling the starters, Nick went to chest bump me when they called my name, but I didn't know she was going for a chest bump. So she hit me, like she chest bumped my face.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
so when I went to do the jump ball, I had a bloody nose. I had a bloody
What?
nose. Yeah, from her chest bumping me. So they actually had to sub me. So I didn't get to start that game. So I got injured before the game. So yeah, that's definitely a memorable game for me. I can never forget that. Every time I look at
I
Nick,
don't think that was me. Was that me?
it was
Nick
definitely
Nick gets a lot of people injured in the team.
I don't think
I don't
Mel
think
will
that was
forget that,
me.
Nick.
yeah,
Nick, I
Was
I'll
don't
that
think
never
Mel
me?
forget.
will forget that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
for me,
What?
I sorry, go ahead, Sir Brian.
What time? What game was? Who were you playing? And would you? And when? What year was this? If you still remember.
I believe we were playing in you. And
Okay.
I want to say, was it third year, Nick?
I really don't remember that happening. Like, you had a bloody nose
You really
when?
don't?
No. When?
How do you?
All right.
I remember other people that I accidentally injured, but I don't remember you.
Well, I was one of them. Thank you.
Nick,
Maybe you're used to getting people injured, you forget about it already.
Tina,
whoa.
I remember her shoulder. I think
Mm.
Cara stepped on my foot and she sprained her ankle, I think. I think one time. Binky had to get stitches here. I remember that one.
Whoa.
But I don't remember Mel. Like I really
Nick is like a walking hazard. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be careful
So
around
Brian,
her.
whenever it's
All right. All right.
so
Yeah,
Brian,
Tina, go on.
whenever it's the one-on-one drills,
Yeah.
don't partner up with Nick.
no one wants to partner with me.
You'll get hurt.
All right. How about Tina? Yeah, you were saying something earlier. You're
I
about to say
guess
something.
the most memorable game for me was probably my last game. You know, it's just after that buzzer, like all your years playing basketball just flashes like right before your eyes, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is it. It's this is the end of it. You know, like and having to say goodbye to these like wonderful women that you grown to have a really like nice relationship with. You know, they're basically your sisters. You know, like we 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 fight, but at the end of the day, we're still family, and having to say goodbye to that, it's really sad, but at the same time, you're also excited for what's in store for them and for you as well. Like me personally, you're excited, but yeah, it's really the goodbyes that sucks. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's
my
true.
most memorable time playing.
Okay, would I dare ask Nick what was your memorable? I hope it's not injuring somebody.
No. Uh, one of my most memorable games I think was when we were against NU as well. This wasn't when Mel got injured, I think. But Tina was out. I think na fouled out si Tina, and then it was just me and our rookie big. Her name is Den Morelos. I think that one of the most memorable games for me because NU is undefeated. How many games are they undefeated?
Mm-hmm.
90 plus.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that game, we gave them a hard time. Like, and it was just, I mean, towards the end, Tina was doing well. Her 3 points was like unguardable because ayaw lumabas yung big nila. And then when their bigs were closing out, our bigs would drive inside. So it was one of the most memorable for me because I think that was the deepest our bench went that season, that game. I don't think that was when Melissa had a bloody nose. I don't think you still played that game though, right? Like
I did. Once they
okay,
got
okay,
the blood to stop,
okay.
they subbed me back in.
That's the first time I've heard of that kind of incident. As in the clock was not yet running, you already got injured.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a first.
Really? Oh wow. What an
Uh,
honor.
but Cara,
I think my most memorable game, I think I'd have to say games actually, was when we went on our Cinderella run to the finals.
Mm.
That was my third year, I believe. Yeah, third year. Um, we were at fifth, I think. Was that right, Tina? Fifth.
Yeah,
So we were at fifth. Then we had to beat the fourth to make it to the final four.
all do or die
So
games.
we yeah, it was all do or die games actually. So it was a step ladder match. So it was about beat one team, then the next, until we reached NU, which was twice to beat, thrice to beat. I don't know if they still had the thrice to beat rule that time, but yeah, we had to. We beat every team in a do or die match, and the best one there was when we beat LaSalle for during the semis, and yeah, because it was really memorable because LaSalle was the defending, or well, they were in the finals the previous year
mhm.
or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it was sweet victory for us, even if we didn't If we didn't make it as champions, just making it to the finals itself was already a really big improvement ever since I stepped in first year. So from being one of the last to being up there, so it was really memorable. Just all the trainings, all the hard work we all went through, all the fights, team fights that we had to go through just to make it to the top. It was really fun. The whole journey itself was literally blood, sweat, and tears. So yeah.
Melissa's blood, Cara's blood.
Or- Okay, I just got one final question. Wait, uh, Tina, were you able to? I saw from the poster you played for Gilas.
Yes, I did, Sir
Only you.
Brian.
How about the others? Did you have any chances to join or play for Gilas? Just to be sure. Melissa, Cara, or Nick, none.
Nick and I were part of the under 16 team,
Okay.
under
Uh,
16, but after that, that was it.
all right. So who was your coach, if you don't mind me asking, at that time?
Coach
Cara.
Mon.
Mon-
Coach Moncelis.
okay. How about you, Tina?
Oh, Coach Pat Aquino.
Okay. So we were talking about NU. So can you describe to us the experience of being coach under Coach Paraquino? I mean, considering that, well, you know how what he has done. Can you
Yeah.
share to us what he has, what you got from him?
Well, of course, it was an honor to actually play under a champion coach. You wanna know like how it is
Mm.
like training under him. So we get to train with his NU players as well, and I have to say, like the competition is like you have to step up your game because if you're not,
Mm.
you're gonna be left behind. And it was a really fun experience because Coach Pat, he's like um very open to the players as well. Like you won't be like hesitant to approach him and ask him about this and that, and especially the assistant coaches.
Mhm.
They also play a big role like in trainings and stuff. So yeah, it was a really memorable experience. I mean, I never even thought like that there it would be possible for me to be part of the national team, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just really grateful for the experience. So yeah, and also I just wanna like share also, to Monique. I don't know if you've heard, but like the last 2019, the Gilas unit got their first ever gold for five
Mhm.
5-on-5 and 3x3. So yeah, maybe you'll never know. I mean, after college, maybe you would like to try, the national team. It's always an honor to play for your country. So yeah.
That's true. Who were your teammates then, Tina?
Um, well, one of my teammates were Danica Jose. She was also my teammate in Ateneo. We
Mm.
have Jack Animam,
Oh, hey, Jack.
um, Claire Castro, Janine Pontejos, Afriel
Oh, okay.
Bernardino. So yeah, a lot of who else? Well, sorry, Rian Nabalan. A lot of like NU players. UST, Unique Chan, Gemma Miranda. So yeah, it was, and we also had like imports. We had Helly Case,
Mhm.
uh, who played for NU as well. She was from UCLA. So yeah.
All right. Okay. That's it for me. So before we end, let's give the our guest the floor to do your shout outs. And if you want to promote anything, now's your chance. Let's start with Nick. And please don't injure me.
Shout out to my teammates and our management and coaching staff, Mutagens Glow Boosters, my family, my parents for always supporting me, and of course, Alefam. Um, yeah, shout out to all those that are always watching the games and supporting, and uh, that's it. Thank you guys.
All right. Kara?
So, like Nick, I'd like to give a shout out to my teammates, my team management. Pacific Water Queens, and my family, mom, dad, and also a shout out to um, those watching right now. Um, and also, I'd like to promote Doyen. We're on Instagram and Facebook, Doyen Manila, Doyen.mnl. So, yes, please support women athletes and follow us. Um,
All
that's it.
right. Tina?
Well, I just would like to say hi to my mom, my mom who is with me in the room, and my sister who's in Australia. Hi, ate. My relatives in Florida, Blanca, Pampanga, my cousins, JP Quemnaton, my kinder team, Darcy, and also my Ateneo teammates and coaches, and my Gilas family as well. So, hi, guys.
All right. So let's give our host also a chance. Let's start with Melissa.
I'd just like to shout out my family and friends wherever they may be. I'd like to say hi to my boyfriend and also to all our old teammates. Like I said, I know we don't talk all the time, but I hope you all are well, and we miss you dearly, and we hope to see you soon and catch up.
All
Thank you.
right. And finally, our future bowler, Miss Monique Fetalvero.
I would like to say hi to all my family who are watching. Thank you for supporting me always. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Tito Dodo, Sir Brian, ProEx for this opportunity to host another show. Thank you also to our guests for this very fun interview.
All right. It looks like Monique was the guest and everybody was the co-host because everybody was focused on you. Anyway, again, thank you to Soul Academy and Pro S Basketball Talk for making this show possible. And also, again, for the last time, for those who can donate for our referees in need, please you can send them via GCash. It's 0917-533-3636. The deadline is tomorrow. Thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure and a fun-filled episode. And I hope to catch you again sometime. All right.
Thank
So
you,
have
sir.
a good
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ProEx.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sir
Thank you,
Brian.
Monique.
Thank you,
Good
Monique,
luck.
Mel.
have a
Bye,
good
guys.
dinner. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hindi ako susuko, lalaban hanggang sa dulo. Hindi ako susuko, lalaban hanggang sa dulo. Taglay ko ang puso ng kampiyon. 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 Makakamit mo ang pangarap, huwag na huwag kang bibitaw. Limitado ang paligid, layuan mo ang tanaw. Daming rason para sumubok, buhay natin isa lang. Hindi paramihan